What are teens today not ready to hear? Literally everything minus graphics and technology was better in the 80s 90s. Music, food, movies, clothing, television, video games, parties, pretty much everything. You do not all have autism, ADHD, or Tourette's just because you saw a TikTok about it with really generic overly relatable symptoms treating mental illness diagnosis like horoscope readings. Staring down at phones and other devices will ruin your neck. Look up and improve your posture. It may not be your fault, but it is your problem. The most important skill you should be developing right now is socializing with people in real life, person to person. Take your AirPods out when you're talking to someone. First time you have sex, if you're male, you'll last all of 5 seconds, if you even get in there. If you're female, you won't come at all, and will probably be in a fair bit of pain. Faking mental disorders is an incredibly shallow thing to do. Nobody wants to hear your music on public transport. Put some headphones on. Weed is not that safe for teenagers. This world owes you nothing. You're not owed anything. Your feelings don't matter. Your sexual preferences are not a viable replacement for a personality. Your pronouns don't matter. Shut up. That they're not the main character. That your life will always have problems no matter what. When you hit 30 plus and can't make it through the night without having to go to the bathroom. That for all of the workers' rights / work reform rhetoric you see, hear, read on Reddit and other social media platforms, you will undoubtedly have situations where the power dynamic is not in your favor, and that is okay. Your boss is your boss and your co-workers are your co-workers. They're not doing anything new or edgy. You are not smarter than your parents. Life isn't fair. If you want to change that, you need to do more than whine and cancel people. That just makes you obnoxious and irritating. Listen to your elders. Not all of them are as stupid as you think they are. A lot of them have been in the exact same position you are in. Maybe not the most profound, but while it's okay to make mistakes, there are some that you can't just move on from and chalk up as a learning experience. Namely, being convicted of a crime. Once you turn 18, that record follows you forever, and if you commit a felony, your future gets severely limited. You can't take out student loans to go to school, most jobs won't hire you, and many landlords won't lease to you. I worked for almost 2 years with people who got caught up in the system, and so many of them struggled to find housing and/or employment. Many worked awful hours in extremely physically demanding positions at the same 2 or 3 factories because those were the only places that would hire them. And ultimately a lot of them ended up getting new charges because of the lack of opportunities and instability in their life. So please, do everything you can to avoid getting involved in the criminal justice system. Swearing every 10 seconds does not make you cool. That COVID virus adults kept saying was just a cough, so you got it a dozen times? Turns out it's responsible for you getting disabled and unfit to work within a few years. Everyone has anxiety and depression, we just didn't have it normalized. This is the worst that hip-hop/rap has ever sounded. It used to sample amazing breaks and funky beats, then it was all about how fast you can rap. Now it's incoherent mumbling over a beat created on a Casio by a balding old producer who needs to put their name on the track rather than just the album sleeve. Sex is overrated. When older people give you advice from stories of their own experiences, they aren't trying to annoy or discourage you. They are telling you the lessons they learned. This seems to be an issue with young men in particular. I was guilty too, I know firsthand. You don't know it all, pay attention to others' mistakes, and take notes. They are trying to help you learn from them. If you shut up and listen, you might learn something. There are no adults. There are progressively older teenagers. Teach yourself emotional regulation. What you're going through is not unique, and you aren't the only one going through it. I don't mean this in a nice way. The amount of teenagers I've interacted with that justify their bad behavior because of X, Y, and Z is astounding. Trust me, I was that teenager, too. No one could tell me anything and I did what I wanted to because of it. I wish I had come to the realization way earlier, because even though I'm just 22, it's really hard to get out of that mindset of I'm the only one that matters here, because what I am feeling is a lot, so that has to mean I deserve to act how I want to. If I had just learned how to properly deal with my emotions, I probably wouldn't have done a lot of things that lead to me being who I am today. Anthropologists won't use your preferred pronouns. It's very unlikely that you will stay friends with the people you met in college, let alone high school. You don't have every mental illness ever. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. The world won't conform to you and you gotta be okay with that. Also things most adults are not ready to hear. What I've learned as I've gotten older is that it's rarely ever about age or wealth or race or education. I don't know what it is other than we're all different and we're all the same. Putting people into categories based on knowing nothing about them is something we all need to learn to avoid. The instant gratification we've all become accustomed to is accelerating the deterioration of society. Teens and adults need to step away from screens and immediacy. Go learn to talk to people you've never met before. Learn to give really good hugs and listen well. You do actually have to have legible handwriting, and after a certain point, you are judged for how bad yours is. Life is more expensive than you think. You are nowhere near as smart as you think, especially with information based on valuable life experiences that you simply haven't had yet. And your brain's still growing. High school doesn't define you. You actually do have to pay back those loans. Most of the social skills you focus on will become useless in your adult life unless you want to act like a teenager all your life. This option may seem ideal now, but it won't when you are living with your parents indefinitely and you are still obsessing about what other people think about you. That the world doesn't revolve around you and you aren't entitled to everything you think you are. It's too late to save the earth. No matter how well laid your plans are, life will not go that way. The world will not revolve around you and your triggers. It's not other people's job to manage your triggers, and just because someone triggers you, does not automatically mean they did something wrong. You aren't owed anything. Any teens going through here reading this? Put the phone down and learn basic communication skills such as small talk and conversation skills. Stop getting offended for others, it doesn't make you look smart. Being offensive doesn't make you funny and being edgy doesn't make you special. Being edgy teen is more normal if anything. You can't change someone who doesn't put in the effort or has the will to genuinely want to change themselves. Please stop fetishizing sexuality. It's not a fad or some kind of accomplishment to be something other than straight. No one is special because of who they are attracted to. The world doesn't revolve around you, and you aren't as smart or clever as you think you are. Oprah. The world isn't fair. And there's nothing you can do about that. There's always money in the banana stand. Unless you are born into wealth, your voice doesn't matter all that much. The popular kids are only popular because they act popular. There is nothing actually special about them. My mom, a teacher with over 40 years experience with Midland High School social hierarchy. You are male or female. You can call yourself whatever you want, but your DNA will reveal you are male or female, and sometimes both. Faking mental illnesses, namely depression, does not make you cool or gain you attention. Your mental health stability is important and should be something you explore and learn to maintain. Being nice to people is not hard, not a weakness, and you should err towards doing it in everything you do.